Wednesday. Tonight we've got an NXT GEN TV team event versus the Gran Turismo Mature Racing Club. Just normally on myself, but I've got co-commentator Jamie with me tonight as well.
Hello, how are you all doing?
So it should be a good night of racing. It's going to be a track that I definitely think Slipstream's going to be definitely used to its full advantage tonight. I mean, what's your take on the evening? How can you see it panning out?
Well, from what I've seen through all of the practice that's been going on so far, turn one is going to be an absolute nightmare for these guys. ABS is off, traction control is off. These guys are really struggling, as we just see Cake there get smack bang into the wall. I just feel like, you know, people are going to be wearing their tyres out as well, and see a lot of guys sliding up to the outside going into the first corner, and that's just obviously just burning those tyres down.
Yeah, I think tyre choice is definitely going to be one of those options that could either win or lose the race for you. You know, it's open tyre choice. It depends on the driver what they want to do. We think personally it might be better to maybe go for a hard setup. A little bit of a nudge there from Big Sykester onto Cake, throws him into the wall. Goes into even cut there as well.
Big contact.
But yeah, you know, it's either you go for your faster grip but your faster tyre wear, or do you go for the harder compound, make them last a little bit longer? I think I know what I'd choose.
I believe the tyre wear situation is these guys are racing on a ×5 scenario, so the tyres are wearing down 5 times faster than they normally would. And I believe fuel is only set to double, so 2 times worth of fuel.
Ultra realistic of ×5 tyre wear on. I think it's just because of the nature of the track. If you put it on normal tyre wear, it's just going to be cars going around in a bit of a circle sort of thing. So it's just done to obviously increase the excitement, and again just to add that tactics to it as well, where it's not just a case of going out on super softs and getting the fastest times. I think you've really got to take into account
That's exactly right, Phil. I mean, a lot of these times you see these races, you know, people don't even make pit stops and look out, but in the real world, pit stops make and break races. So the fact that these guys are going to have to be thinking about, you know, their tyres, their fuel consumption, is going to make things very interesting.
Yeah, and with being a short laps as well, the more time you spend in those pits, the quicker you're going to be coming to getting lapped, really. So, you know, you don't want to be spending too long in the pits. You definitely want to get out on the track and keep going for the positions, really.
What will be really interesting to see is just how much the tyre wear affects lap times as they start to wear down. Because if you pit 1 lap earlier than everyone else and you come out on these fresher rubbers, like, how much time are you going to be able to make up on those guys that decide to stay out an extra lap?
Yeah, that's true. And again, it comes down to the tactics of which tyres you use, and it will be interesting to see. I'm pretty sure that in the game, once it does start pitting, I know in the race it shows what tyres people use, and I don't know if we're going to get to see that in the commentary view. It'd be interesting if it did show us that.
I don't know, Phil, if you go to the spectator options, if you've got display race info on. Because once the drivers do enter pit road, we will be able to see the tyres if that's on, what they changed to. Unfortunately, we can't see what they're on the fly. Or if there was a way to do that, I have not found it myself.
Yeah, no, hopefully it will do once they pit in then, and it shows. It does show us when they're in the pits there, so you can see Leon Mark is running super softs. Blue Gobi. I mean, this is obviously just sort of practice at the moment, just getting a feel for everyone out on track. We're still waiting for obviously people to come into the lobby as well at the moment.
Just noticed the car currently in 4th place on the track, running it appears to be a Carl Edwards Subway NASCAR scheme, looking very cool there. Some very cool paint schemes out on the track.
Yeah, it's a very nice looking car, that. I wonder if he's done that himself or he's found it within the game.
Hard to tell, we'll never know, Phil, we'll never know. Yeah, so it's definitely turn 1, I think it's going to be where we see most of the issues, as well as the kink right hand of the track, very flat there, not a lot of grip, especially as these tyres are wearing out. If people are going in there 2 wide, maybe even 3 wide, I can see contact being made.
Yeah, definitely. That's the thing with this type of track as well. It looks a lot wider sometimes than what it actually is, especially with the bank curves as well. If you get 3 or 4 going up there, and the turns come quite quick in this track as well, especially on sort of
Definitely, yeah.
that section where Mr. Saxo is at the moment. It's
there's been a big crash out of turn 1. A couple of guys collected there. Who's that? I got the worst of it.
I think it was Evil
That was
Cat,
Evil Cat 77, yeah. He got T-boned there. Someone went loose up into the wall, bounced back off. That's the thing, these walls, depending on how hard you hit them, they spit you back out. If you hit that wall hard enough, it's going to launch you straight back into the path of oncoming traffic, which of course is an issue and a worry probably for everybody.
Yeah, and I can't see the gaps being
There's no gravel paths or anything like that.
Yeah, I can't see the gaps being too big between the drivers as well. So, like you say, if you're out in front and you clip that wall and get spat out, there's possibly about 8 or 9 drivers that you're going to collect in the way as well.
It'll be a matter of who can drive through it, I reckon. I reckon we'll have at least one big one.
Maybe a bit like Lightning McQueen on cars, if you can just bounce maybe over.
Oh, definitely. Is that the Cars 3 crash you're referring to?
Yeah. Well, no, I was referring to the first one. I still haven't seen Cars 3.
You get to do a lot of accidents, to be fair, for like the world's greatest race car driver, doesn't it?
Oh, Blue Goby getting the back end of the Porsche out there and clipping the wall. That's definitely, that is definitely, if you do that in the race, you're gonna kiss quite a few positions goodbye. So I have seen a few of the NGR lads in the Porsches that the back end is a bit tail happy on the Porsche.
Yeah, indeed. I was talking to Mr. Saxo earlier about how he was feeling about this race. Currently our fastest lap right now, the 29.54. He was saying the only way they can get the car to turn is by having the brakes adjusted to the rear of the car, which of course, as Dragon and Socky Chip there just went flying around that corner, drifting it. It's either you go in there really tight or really loose. It doesn't seem to be anywhere in between you can get.
I'm sure these guys will figure out a way.
That's what they do best.
There's Mr. Dark Sykes going up to Dragon Soggy Chip there. Oh, and down the back end coming out on Dragon Soggy Chip again. Mr. Saxo getting caught with these 3 as well.
If I'm honest, Phil, Mr. Saxo has to be one of the favourites for tonight's race. The other day, I don't know if you saw, there was some test races going on here, and Mr. Saxo won both. But of course, just with the NGR guys. I've not really heard much or seen much of this Gran Turismo Mature Racing Club, so we'll have to see.
No, this is the second sort of Team B team night that we've done. I myself missed the first one as well. I believe that the NGR lads took the overall win on that evening, but tonight is their track choice and their car class choice as well. I think a lot of them seem to go. Is it a Daihatsu that they're driving?
I think so.
It looks like one, doesn't it? But I
can check.
I think a lot of them have got.
Check.
Does it say on the right? Ah, yeah, it does. So yeah, it's the SFR Racing Concept. I think that's what a lot of them have gone for.
I don't think they actually have.
Party chat has just closed down. Sorry about this. Let me just set a party chat back up. Just get the stream going. The party chat once again. Apologies about that, we'll get back to the action as quickly as we can. if you are watching on...
You're back.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened. It just said there that it was a network...
Or NAT error or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get those quite a few times a week.
If you are watching, I believe, Jamie, you're streaming this onto your channel as well, is that correct?
Yes, that is correct. And that channel is just simply Scraf, SCRAF.
So if you are watching on my channel, do go over to Scraf's channel and do subscribe to that as well. He does like to stream and commentate some races as well, so if you do want a racing fix but you can't be bothered getting your wheel out or your pad, just put your feet up, have a beer, and we'll try and keep you entertained throughout the evening. We'll obviously try and catch as much of the action as we can for you as well. We'll try and keep it where we watch half the table each. Easier said than done when I think the racing's going to be as close as what it is.
Oh, it did, definitely.
So we see C4 Cake is now taking the top spot at the moment.
He's almost got down to a 29.4.
Am I right in thinking though these times don't really mean anything once the lobby starts? It's we got a little tap there.
Cake got into who was that?
It was
Showy.
69. Nothing intentionally. It was just a little tap to the rear of the car.
The thing is, I found to get a bit more experience of what I was going to be talking about tonight, I went on with Mr. Saxo last night and ran some laps myself, and you do end up getting as close to that wall in a matter of milliseconds almost. You know, you can very easily screw up. As 10th place there, Evil Cat 77 has hit the wall once again.
Yeah, and we saw C4 Cake as well. I think I'm just going to call him Cake for the evening.
I'm calling him Cake, yeah.
He scraped the wall as well, so as you said there, turn 1 is definitely going to, I think, cause...
It's just a nightmare spot.
Yeah.
We basically fell it's a 90-degree corner. The banking's not that great. They're going in there extremely fast. It's the fastest they're about to be on the track entering the tightest corner. So it's a recipe for disaster, basically.
It's so tight, that corner.
But it's the right-hander. There's no banking. It all goes away. So those cars, especially when they're a bit tail-happy, just slide right out towards the apron on the inside.
Yeah, it does go flat very, very quickly, doesn't it? I mean, we can see the corner that Cake's on now. It's got a nice bank to it. Lasts quite a while where it approaches corner 1. And we see
there's no traction control. If they go off the banking at a bad angle, I can see it very easily unsettling the car. All I can hear is cars sliding around, Phil. I don't know about you.
Yeah, it's just a loud screech, almost like...
Lots of loud screeching, yeah.
Bank meters on the track.
Oh, Evil Cat and Cake there got onto each other once again. Cake's brought himself onto pit road. Mr. Saxo there crashed out in turn 1. I'm not sure what the damage scenario is. Phil, do you know if they have damage on? Because I think it might be a short race if they do.
Yeah, I think just to keep it fun and, you know, just in case any accidents happen, I think damage is off, to be fair. I mean, none of these guys will go out purposely to ruin someone's race. So I think damage should just be turned off again. Just, you know, if anyone scrapes the wall or anything, it just carries on. They'll just lose time. But Tiga,
I think the tyre wear times 5 is enough for the punishment.
Yeah, Tiga 898 is currently leading for the mature Gran Turismo Racing Club guys. He's in 3rd. Again, there's not much in it between him and 1st, really. So.
Just going to take a look at the timing chart for myself. Let's have a look. What is this? Yeah, very close.
Very, very close between Saxo and Cake. Literally just the wall scraping.
But I know what Saxo's ego's like. He's not going to settle for that.
No, he's one of them that thrives off the. If he knows that he can do it, especially with times like that, he'll know it actually.
The only thing Mr. Saxo likes more than a win is a pole, and I think of course he'll be getting back out on it and trying to get himself back up.
I can see that the top 4 are all racing hards. Blue Gobi is racing on the super softs. Keithio and 8th is using super softs. And we've got 11th. pit stops as well.
Blue Goby's also running a very aesthetically pleasing scheme. He always seems to have those, and they're all seem to be very different as well, which is quite interesting. I mean, a lot of these guys that make their own schemes, you know, they all tend to look similar, but Blue Goby seems to have quite a wide variety of paint schemes.
Yeah, now Blue Goby, I'm sure he won't mind me mentioning, I know him personally from the group anyway, well, not personally, but I speak to him on the group. His missus actually designed some wicked liveries. She did a Powerpuff Girl one. I don't know where she finds the time to do it.
I saw the Powerpuff Girls one.
But she did it from scratch as well. It's before you could actually import any images into it, so she did it literally just using
so the Powerpuff Girls are made up of shapes?
Yeah. It was she
oh,
just
no
literally
way.
did it.
That makes that scheme 10 times cooler.
Yeah, so
no, I saw that one the other night.
I wouldn't be surprised if his missus had a little dabble with the paintbrush.
A little play around with that one too.
To be fair, like seeing fifth there, and they've been pushed down to sixth already. Just trying to get
Scotty, another driver there, making contact with the wall out of turn 1. Dark Sykes with a very shiny blue chrome Porsche.
Yeah, that is.
Normally that stuff doesn't look quite as professional and sort of classy, but he's done a job.
Yeah, I do like the shading around the wheels on that car. Oh, he had to slam on the brakes hard there. I mean, he got round corner 1 without touching the wall, but I mean,
just put it in a little bit too hard on the way on the exit. Yeah, I mean, I've given the livery maker a shot a good few times, but I've never been able to get those transitions looking anything like some of the other guys have.
We've got Keithio, who's gone for a nice burgundy gold, which doesn't sound like it should work, but I'll tell you what.
No, it looks quite classy, doesn't it? It looks quite vintage, almost.
Yeah.
It's one of those things you wouldn't go together, like chili and chocolate or something like that, but when put into practice, it looks really good. I think this is a new driver on the racetrack, Mr. Evan Syke.
Yeah, also for the Mature Racing Club there as well. Now, see in the background, Dark Sykes there as well. He's getting round corner 1, but it looks like he's having to brake very, very heavy round it.
Now, as he goes to drag the brake through the corner.
I mean, he's getting round the corner without touching the wall, but he's sacrificing maybe a bit too much. I mean, obviously one...
That's right on board with Dark Sykes for a lap. Yeah, it sounds like he's very heavy on the braking. Well, as I went on board with him there, he did get into the wall in turn 1. But yeah, the tyres were screeching very hard there.
I mean, one thing the guys will have to be careful about as well, which I've just realised, if you do come out of that turn 1 and you do scrape the wall, it could issue a slow down penalty for you because it may think that you're wall riding. So maybe Dark Sykes' approach to maybe just taking it a bit easier. So we'll see him now. So yeah, he brakes very hard.
Yeah, because they can be quite severe, those penalties. I believe for a simple wall slap like there, for example, it might be plus a second at least, so. And obviously a second round here would be quite a concern to have added on to your time.
Yeah, I mean, I believe that the race, that I suppose you could class as an endurance sort of race. I mean, they're not massively long laps on this track anyway, so I mean, it'll be over before we know it really, but I believe they're doing 20 laps and then maybe a 30 lap with a reverse grid from the first race. We'll wait for confirmation on when the laps will start, but
I believe the original green flag was set for 9:30 GMT, but we had some issues setting up the lobby, so I believe the start time may have been pushed back a little bit. Big crash though into turn 1 there. 4 cars involved. That was Cake, Tigger 898, and I didn't see the other two drivers.
I think it was Shivery 69. I think it was someone in it. It might have been the subway car actually. So Darksight's just in the message board there. 10 minutes to start. Kate just messaged there. Sorry, locked up. So do need to be careful. We do want to see, obviously, you know, we want to see close driving. We do want to see fair driving tonight as well.
I mean, in a way, it's a good thing that he made that mistake here in practice. Now he knows what he can and what he can't do. He's not going to try that in the race, most likely.
Yeah, this is a good thing about just letting the warm-up sessions just run for a little bit. Like I say, people get used to how people sort of drive on the track. You will get your drivers that are a bit more brave than others. You'll get a bit more, you know, some that are more cautious. So it just, especially on a track like this, you know, you can catch up to guys pretty quick and have a good few laps with them. So it is a good way of learning your opposition.
No, definitely. Well, you need to know who you can trust, especially on a small, tight track like this in a lot of places. You need to know whether, you know, can I run alongside this guy, or is it going to end us getting us both knocked out of competition?
Just watching Shuri, oh, there's a yellow flag come out there as well. It's finished now. Just watching Shuri actually took corner one really, really nice. He got really to the inside of it, and he managed to sort of let it follow through the whole corner. So maybe he's got corner one. That could definitely win races. That if you can master corner one. He's coming down.
Well, I feel like there's a lot of time still possibly to be made up in turn one. It's just people's setups aren't sort of adjusted to take turn one properly, I would say. I believe the smoothest we've seen turn one taken has been, well, you just said there you've seen someone take turn one very nicely, but you know, for the majority of the people that you see go through turn one, it looks very rough.
Yeah. Just
like Josh Scotty, for example, there, you know, was doing almost a Drift King impersonation there, so he got into turn one. But he's like running fifth in lap time. So I mean, I still think there's still quite a bit of possible lap time to be made up there if someone could master turn one.
He will master it. That answer will be revealed tonight. Yellow flag's out again.
Now, I've just noticed Cake has managed to set a 29.1 Phil. That was 3 tenths faster than anyone's posted practice laps. He's now doing donuts just before going on to pit road in celebration.
I was just going to say, I put the camera onto him, then he literally sort of spun into the view of the camera. Whether that was intentional or a bit of a celebratory move, not too sure. Yeah, NG Scotty running in fourth. Well, actually saying that he's just
the yellow flag,
third.
blue will be parked on the track for some reason there. So the cost just a span out.
Scotty's just took corner one quite nice as well.
Just gonna take it on board, guys, with Cake, our current fastest lap holder. Let's see how he tames BB Raceway. He's just on his out lap now. He's putting it way down on the apron, out of the way of traffic.
I was just about to say, you don't want to drive too much on that apron because it will do this.
I think he's still burning out. I think he's kind of still celebrating here. Save that for the race, mate.
Yeah, he's just having a bit of fun.
He's just having fun. I think, well, to be fair, that's 3 tenths faster than anyone has posted anywhere. So, to be honest, that is a lap worth celebrating, and if this has served as a qualifying session, you know, that's put him on pole. I don't think that's going to be touched.
So, I was just reading the comment board there, and it looks like so they were gonna plan to do a formation lap. It looks like it was so it looks like a standing start is how this race is gonna commence.
it's not clear really yet whether alright, it is a standing start. As I go to clear up things, it looks like it will be a standing start. Cake is actually doing some pretty good burnouts down the by the apron right now.
Sparks flying from the back of the car as it drags along the black stuff.
It's a good thing that's not the only one that his race team brought to the track.
Yeah,
Looks like that thing's going to have to be repainted before the main event.
That's the best thing about sim racing games as well. If you do spoon your car, it doesn't actually cost you anything to fix it.
You know, I reckon millions of dollars would have already gone into turn 1 today. This was a real event, and it looks like we're starting. A little bit earlier than expected. Hope everyone made it in. So, yeah, we have Cake on the pole, followed by Mr. Saxo, Tigger 898, NGR Scotty, and Blue Gurby make up your top 5. And the green flag is out here at BB Raceway. Look how they fan out, Phil, with that standing start.
Here's everyone's view through quite clearly into turn 1.
The thing these guys have got to remember is they've got 30 laps here. I mean, it's not a tremendously long amount of time, but it's also not a short amount of time. There's no reason to, you know, effectively lose the race in turn 1.
We've got Shuri, he's got Dark Sights has just pulled a move on him there. He's pretty much let the door open for him. Oh, Dark Sights a little bit unsteady coming out of turn 1 there. Knocks slightly into the side of Shuri. Slows down, lets Shuri go off in front. And then takes the place back. Bringing the fight to Blue Goga here as well. Tiga scrapes the wall there as well.
Hope people take advantage of that. Looks like these front two are starting to pull away.
Yeah,
Mr. Saxo is cracking him down.
Two battling through the practice session are the ones that are going to be battling through this race by the looks of it. Just down to the bottom, so we've still got Scotty and Tiga that are now battling out as well.
But as you mentioned earlier, Phil, in the practice session there, the slipstream, now that these guys are actually racing each other, is going to come a lot more into play than it was in perhaps the practice session. Mr. Saxo's now brought it down to under 0.2 of a second behind Cake. So he's going from on the outside, but Cake throws the block.
Saxo will have to reposition himself and bring the fight to him again. And I feel that it might go on for a while. It's could be one of them. It's just wait for a mistake to happen. Because catching up is one thing, but then getting past is another. Because he seems to catch up into turn 1, and then Cake is just taking the fastest line through it, so Saxo has to brake slightly harder. That just allows Cake to...
Well, I think Mr. Saxo's best opportunity is going to be doing his best to get alongside him out of the final corner, and then just try and get a good enough of a run using his slipstream to get on down to the inside of him in 1, but Cake runs through that final corner so well, I'm not sure whether he'll be able to do it.
See, Tiga 898 is leading for the mature racing guys at the moment. He's got NGR Scotty who is behind him. He's doing enough to keep him at bay, keep the distance. Oh,
can't make contact.
Oh, there's Dark Sights almost getting out of shape there as well. He managed to get the car going, but loses a couple of places for it.
Yeah, the two made heavy contact into turn 1 there. Both of them locked up and just sort of got stuck together.
seems to be able to
Saxo
get
though
going
not letting
again.
Kate get away. Sorry, Phil.
No, I was just going to say, Darkseid seems to get going again, but seems to be struggling, like you mentioned before. It's corner one. It's really catching a lot of the drivers out. You can see there.
Evil Cat just hit it again behind sights there. Oh, as Kate goes around.
So,
Saxo to the inside. He's going to pass him for the lead. It looks like he got a bit scared there as Jester was spinning out, and he put the brakes on just a little bit too hard there, Phil, and well, he's lost the lead now.
Yeah, that's one thing we did forget to factor in, especially with being 30 laps, especially if these guys are travelling at these speeds and putting these lap times down.
Lap traffic.
And you know, the guys that you're approaching are in the race as well. They're very close. You know, they can gain position, so it's not one of them where, you know, they don't really have to move out of the way. It's more the lead racing to sort of try and find a way past them. Oh, that's Jester who was getting out of shape there as well. So Jester
looks like there's a lot of incidents going on in turn one there. Evil Cat hard at the wall. It would appear that Caesar has a 4.4 second penalty. I'm not quite sure what caused that, but if you pop it over Caesar there, Phil, it is displaying a 4.4 second penalty there for him. Scott Sykes now crashes out. I believe he was trying to get onto pit road, but just missed the entrance. That's going to be very costly for him.
Still hasn't taken the slow down penalty. Oh, hits the wall hard.
Who was that, Phil?
That's Caesar Raf X. Just watching. He's still got about 3.5 seconds of that penalty still to take. He's now chosen to pit in.
Mr. Saxo didn't just take the lead, he is running away with it. That lead now over 1.5 seconds. Got a clear track ahead of him. There's not going to be lap traffic for a while, I imagine. That pit stops will occur before that. If someone is on the pits. Who is this? Caesar is in.
Oh, it's Cake. He keeps it going, but pretty much went sideways round corner one there as well. But that's not going to help his attack on Mr. Saxo. That's just going to allow Mr. Saxo to... He's now 2 seconds ahead of Cake. Cake's now pitting as well.
I believe that's the right strategy for him to make. There's no point staying out. He wasn't catching him. Get some fresh tyres on.
Blue Gobi is taking second. Tiga running well in third. He's got some traffic just coming up behind him here as well. Tiga finds his way past the back marker there as well very nicely. He's got Blue Gobi, but it's a massive 4-second distance between him. He's got a nice 12-second lead on Big Sykes though, who's running in fourth.
I'm just looking at this, Phil. It would appear tyre wear is going to be bigger than we thought, as the recently pitted Caesar with the 4.4 second penalty is running down Tiga in third. So tyres look like they're worth more than their weight in gold.
Yeah, so what we thought could have been maybe a 1 or 2 stop, depending on what tyre wear, could be seeing a maybe 3 or 4 stop here. Maybe not 3 or 4, maybe a 2 stop or a 3 stop, depending on...
Who's that crashed down by the pit exit? Jester.
Yeah, Jester seems to be struggling with the Porsche tonight. We just lost Jester. Maybe he's retired from the race. So that puts Darkseid in last place at the moment. Again,
Our race leader, Mr. Saxo, just come onto pit road, followed by Blue Gobi.
So both pitting at the same time there. That's Tiga who's now into first place. Trying to get Tiga on the screen. There we go.
As you can see there though, Caesar is trying to get around him, just struggling to, but he's caught him. Tyres. Very important. But Mr. Saxo's going to set off for 42 litres of fuel and hard tyres. Blue Gooby's going to take 46 litres.
Mr. Saxo back out on track now from his pit stop in second place. He's got Keitho just behind him in third, and here comes Cake now bringing the attack to him in fourth. Oh, Keitho's now pitted, so allows Cake to go back into third. Saxo still in second, but they still have Tiga, who still hasn't pitted. Very brave man. And Caesar's now in ninth as well, so he's making good headway. To be honest, he's moved up from 10th. Could be due to pits, but he's now moved up into 8th as well.
The only thing I'm worried about for here is Tiga. If Tiga is holding up Caesar's wrath, you know, how long is Caesar going to put up with that?
Yeah, it's the thing about these TVT, it's not really just about a one-man show. You do have to think about your others. But Caesar is having a great run here. He's actually catching up to 7th now as well. He's now in 5th.
Yeah, and Josh Scott, the Evil Cat, and Mr. Evans Syke have just come onto pit road. Bear in mind, Phil, this guy at lap 10 had a 4.4 second penalty as well. So he's definitely putting on a strong show after that first round of pit stops.
Yeah, the penalty has diminished and his performance seems to be, I mean, he seems to be getting carried by Tiga. To be honest, I know you were saying there that Tiga was holding up a bit, but I don't know, sometimes being stuck behind first place isn't such a bad thing. You can follow their lines. It does look like Tiga has pitted, so we're now back with Saxo on top and Cake, so the positions are just sort of changing back.
We're looking back at those pit stops for these two guys, Mr. Saxo and Cake. It's obviously Mr. Saxo's strategy has appeared to have worked a lot better, doubling his lead from the original 2 seconds when Cake originally went into the pit. So whether Cake came out of the pits and then was immediately met into traffic, or, you know, there's so many different variables that happen on tracks of these size and speeds. But Mr. Saxo now with a solid 4.4 second lead over Cake.
He's got a little bit of traffic to the right of him. It's Keithio. Keithio staying out of his way there. Very nice driving by him. Didn't cause any problems for him. It's allowed Saxo to pass nice and cleanly.
I mean, the worst place to
bringing that
really
time down
like
as well. Sorry, what was that, Jay?
I was just going to say, I believe the worst place to catch lap traffic on a track like this will be going into one of the corners. You ideally want to catch them on the exit of a corner, because you know you'll be faster probably coming out, so you'll be able to run alongside them, whereas if you enter in the corner, there's only that one preferred line really where all the speed is. And of course, if that lap car just happens to be in that line, that's your corner kill, and that's going to cause the guys behind you to catch back up.
Yeah, there's not many really decent parts of the track. The home straight is one of the best. And like this track, as we've mentioned, as soon as you really come out of the first corner exit, you then pretty much got corner 2 into corner 3 and then into corner 4 pretty much straight away. Cake has a little bit of traffic here. Blue Goby in third, he's got Dark Sights just next to him. Dark Sights keeps out of the way, lets him through.
Tiga there holding on to 4th after the pit stops. Despite staying out so late, clearly he was able to manage his tyres very well. Of course, we mentioned obviously if these guys that are sliding into turn 1, they're going to be burning up their wheels a lot quicker than most. For example, yeah, I just watched Tiga there, he didn't lock the tyres up at all or anything, he slid it in there quite nicely, didn't look like there's a lot of tyre rub. So yeah, maybe he's just looking after those tyres.
Yeah, the mature racing guys there, a couple of them have shown good driving through that corner 1. It seems to be, maybe it's that Daihatsu, it seems to be very controlled around the sharper corners.
It seems to be a very stable car compared to the Porsche 911 that the others are driving, the next gen guys are driving. Even through the sort of right-hand kink, those cars seem to be a lot more stable.
Yeah, I think the Porsche maybe has just got it on the, I don't know, I think maybe balance of play will be on. I think the Porsche might just
Yes,
have
because I think the Porsche's had to have some of its power reduced. To be honest, I don't think the guys would have wanted the extra power with how tonight's been going in some of these corners.
Yeah, it's.
I think maybe the lack of power.
Just managed to get out of everyone's way there. Looks like there's a battle for 8th at the moment. There was Big Sykes that has managed to get in front of Caesar, who had that awesome run before in that subway Daihatsu car. And now he's got to bring the fight back.
It's a beautiful paint scheme. Very much was like a throwback to Carl Edwards' subway NASCAR scheme.
So, I mean, we're almost at the end of our race 1 of 2, and then the next race will be a reverse grid, so lots of work.
Our race winner will be starting at the rear. Oh, but Mr. Saxo barely holds on. The car was almost gone, but he managed to save it.
I mean, he's 5 seconds ahead.
Thank God for that 5-second lead. If you know, we were talking about how close these guys were before. If it was like at the start of the race, Cake would have had him for dinner.
Yeah, definitely. I mean,
Mr. Saxo will come out of the final corner and he will take the white flag.
So, yeah,
I don't think Mr. Saxo has shown his usual consistency during this race, but I think he's done some quite ballsy moves, like throwing the car into one and just hoping it will stick. But of course, as he's coming out of the final corner now, he's going to win this race. So congratulations to Mr. Saxo.
Yeah, congratulations to Mr. Saxo. So nice, comfortable win for him there. 5 seconds was the overall gap, and 5 seconds between Cake and Blue Goby there as well. 4 seconds between Tiga. Well done to Tiga for taking the top spot at the mature racing guys. Kifio scored 5th.
Yeah, brilliant drive by him. Good use of strategy, you know, staying out after the rest had all pitted, led some laps, came in, got his tyres changed, looked after his car and his tyres all day. We now take you to victory lane with Mr. Saxo.
In his McLaren.
That's a pretty good looking Porsche, if I do say so myself.
I was just going to say the same as well. So it will be reverse grid in the next race. I don't know if they're just going to go straight into it. They might give a couple of minutes breather just before the race.
I'm assuming that's one of the Gran Turismo guys saying, "Don't forget to subscribe." No, that's one of us, isn't it? Cake. Cake says to subscribe to FYGT Gaming. He may be possibly streaming an onboard view. We've had a couple of guys streaming their onboard views the previous nights, Phil, so...
Yeah, so, like I said before, if you are into your sim racing, do subscribe as well to all the channels to see drivers' perspectives.
And if you're watching on my stream, the Next Gen channel is actually linked on my channel in the related channels section. I've put it in there, so that'll be the easiest way to find where Phil is streaming tonight.
So what I'll do, I'll get my channel update as well. I'll get your channel linked in as well, because you do stream a few of the Next Gen races. I think Jamie's quite new to the Next Gen family. I think he's been with us for... When did you join Next Gen?
I've been sort of an on and off participant in races and project cars and stuff, but not a full-on member. But the first sort of stream I did for you guys was only 4 days ago. But there's been people saying, "Oh, we might actually like someone to try and do some commentary for this." And I said, "Well, I'm available, and I enjoy watching these races, so why not?"
Yeah, a bit like myself. I mean, I'm not the worst racer out there, but I'm not really the best. So sometimes I prefer to just watch and enjoy the racing.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I love a good drive. I've got my T500 upstairs, and I love driving around with that. But I just as much watching this sort of close racing from the booth.
Can't beat it sometimes. So
it looks like our host is going for a bathroom break, so it looks like we're going to have a little bit of another warm-up session.
Just see, so we've got Cake out on track at the moment. So it is going to be a rolling start on race 2. And it's been changed to sunset as well.
Okay, I see the low beams. Just posting my congrats to Mr. Saxo in the race chatter. They've really got their work cut out for them though this time. Cake and Mr. Saxo will have a lot of traffic to contend with.
Yeah, certainly. And who was it that was for the mature racing guys in the subway car? Is it Caesar? Just trying to think of...
Tiga 898 was the highest running. GT MRC guy.
Ah, there he is. So it was... I wish it would go on him. So he's currently in 7th. It was, yeah, Caesar's Raf. He put in a quite good show. I mean, he had that penalty. He was down in 12th. And he managed to fight his way through the field. I think he finished in 8th or 7th in the last race as well. So I think we might see a good performance from him. He's obviously starting a bit higher up the field now, this time as well, than the last race. So I think we might see him. So he's just leaving the pits now.
I mean, obviously, Phil, something you've got to think about with the track being the way it was. Obviously, if you're running alongside people and you are stuck in traffic, you are immediately going to be more cautious and perhaps slower, whereas the leaders were just able to drive away with that open racetrack up in front of them. So now that these guys are starting up front, they'll have a lot more clean racetrack to play around with. Maybe we'll see a completely different showing.
Yeah, certainly it's Tiga. I mean, he raced well for him. He's going to have to start close to the back as well, but I mean, he definitely showed potential in the last race. But I'm going to put money on Caesar's Raf that we might see him have a top 3 finish in race 2 if he can perform as well as he did the latter part of the first race. I definitely think he's on for a top 3 finish.
I actually think that penalty might have, I think that threw him off. And I think that might have, towards the first half of that race, make him lose a bit of confidence. But as the guys pitted after he had already made his stop, he knew that he was making time, and he got a bit of mojo back and just started laying down the lap times.
See, he's put times in there. He's just over a second behind Cake, which is respectable. I mean, Cake's pretty fast, to be fair. So
he's a bit of an alien behind the wheel.
To be within a second is no small feat. We'll see if he improves now as he passes the line.
I mean, I do feel that the Daihatsus sacrifice a little bit of power for stability as well. So as long as Cake's a brilliant driver, he can keep that car under control, and then the reward for that is, he has that extra bit of power that these Porsches do seem to have.
Now with Jester 72 retiring from race 1, will that mean he will start at the back of the grid, or will it, because it's reverse grid rules, will he start at the back, or...
Did he actually leave the lobby?
I don't know if he left the lobby. I think he just retired, because he was in the lobby straight away when the...
If he was the first person to retire, I would assume that would automatically mean he would start last, finish last, which possibly will shut him on pole.
We shall see.
But that effectively would seem like he could just say, "Oh, I'm going to lose this anyway. I'll just start on pole next time."
I think it might sacrifice it. I think that could possibly class it as a
put him at the rear
as a new entry into the race. So it in a fair racing way, it should really put him at the back for this race. But
yeah,
I
would have to agree.
We'll see what game. So it looks like the final's going to start in 6 seconds. I believe it's 20 laps. So it's going to be a quick race. Oh, it does look like Jester is going to be in first place for it. So
interesting. A little bit controversial, but interesting nevertheless.
Dark Sykes, he did seem to struggle with the Porsche in the first race. I think he's got a tough chance. He's got Shuri just behind him in third, and even Cat. So it is a mature Gran Turismo racing group. Mid-pack.
Green flag is in the air.
Races go.
But there's 3 wide for fifth already into the first corner, and one car has gone around. That was Cake. Cake is also around. Cake now back into 14th slot. He did a full 180 there, was facing the start-finish line into turn 1.
So he's got the car going again. So Jester is taking it. Looks like he's having a Sunday drive in his Porsche at the moment because he's that far out on his own at this moment in time. He's got Dark Sykes just behind him now. And then it's just a huge bundle of cars. Jostling for position, but everyone making it through cleanly. Headlights blaring. NGR Scotty in the middle of all this in fifth. Bringing it to Shuri. Shuri's left the door wide open for him there. He's going to get through no problem. So he moves up to fourth. Mr. Evans Syke has got past him as well. Shuri's lost quite a lot of places there.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he hit the wall, Phil, doing it with the right-hander. I did seem to hear a bang, and then it appears to have been slowed right down.
Blue Gobi is now in this fight here between Mr. Evans Syke. I think he's going to sneak past. No, Evans Syke closed the door on him there. Nice defensive driving to stop Blue Gobi's advance, getting past. He has made it through now, though, on the
just
inside.
a little bit earlier, though, Phil. As Dark Sykes loses it into 1. I was just about to make a comment about Jester and Sykes there. As Sykes loses the car, it's going to cost him a lot of time.
Yeah,
going back to what I just said, without the mistakes, Jester now obviously with complete clean racetrack. If you look on the mini-map at the top right, he's the red arrow. Look at all of that open racetrack he has to put him. He's got nothing to worry about. He doesn't have to worry about hitting it in the back of anyone, or anyone in front of him spinning out and causing a wreck right in front of his face. He can just drive. The Caesar's Wrath, your prediction for a good race, Phil, now up to the 2nd spot.
He's got the orange torpedo of NGR Scotty breathing down his neck, though. Luckily, he's got Keith just behind him there as well. So Scotty can't concentrate too much on keeping his eyes from his mirrors. But you can see Scotty, that Porsche down the straights.
It does have a little bit of an edge, doesn't it?
But then corner 1 is pretty much the saviour for the Daihatsu at the moment. It does put a little bit more breathing space on, but it just feels that every lap, the hard work, come down the home straight, unfortunately just crumbles away just that little bit more.
An impressive drive though for Mr. Saxo, already up to 5th in the 6 laps that have been completed. Remember, Mr. Saxo started at the very rear of the field.
Yeah, just
showing
and now
has made its way over halfway through.
Just showing the skill of his driving techniques there, to be honest, to make your way through, avoid all of the chaos that can and has happened at the back. He's now bringing the fight to Keithio.
Just looking on track, it would appear that Cake has retired from the event, as Dragon Soggy Chip has just come off pit road. We have an issue there in the chat there. It looks like Cake disconnected, maybe some sort of network issue.
It's a shame. I mean, Looking at Mr. Saxo,
I mean, it's equivalent of putting it down to like a mechanical issue on the racetrack. You've had a software failure.
Yeah, it happens in real life. Cars can stop working, so we'll just class that as a retirement from the race due to car technical problems. But Mr. Saxo now up to third. Oh, Caesar's RAF has managed to get the first. I believe that's probably due to pit stops. But I mean, as we saw, I think it was Tiggy in the first race. He went pretty much half race length without taking a pit. So I wonder if these guys are just going to push for it for a 20-lap race here. He's got Scotty.
Mr. Saxo, though, is now less than a second behind the leader. Looks like Caesar got very loose there up into the wall. And Scotty and Saxo are going to take advantage of that.
Keithio coming up in fourth as well. Yeah, it was that scrape with the wall. Oh, he's pitting in now. So he's going to lose a couple of places.
No point in staying out, Phil, I don't think. I think just that slide probably did that much damage to the tyres. He thought, you know what, these guys got around me. The only advantage I can get now is some fresh rubber. And I believe that was the right call.
Yeah, because I mean, those guys.
Mr. Saxo just takes the lead on Scotty there. Sorry, Phil.
He does it nicely as well. Like I was just going to say, these guys are obviously past Caesar's there as well. They've all got to pit as well yet. I can't see them staying out for the next 9 laps. I think we'll see him coming in maybe this lap or the next one.
Well, we are halfway through this event. So we know that everyone will be able to make it on one stop.
Oh, Blue Goby there in the background. Back end kicked out and slammed him into the wall. That's going to allow Mr. Evans' sight to really catch up to him here.
Evans' sight dived it down into the apron there. That's.
Yeah, he might.
Big Sykes though is around in turn 1. So is Evil Cat, but Evil Cat saves it. There must be some ice on the track, Phil, in turn 1.
Yeah, you would think so with some of the way the car's doing. Oh, Caesar's getting very close to the apron there as well, but didn't really unsettle the car. Pushing the levels a bit there, you could hear the tyres screeching as Caesar's pushing it round the corner.
Well, I just saw Jester's gone around. So does Big Sykes once again. Big Sykes not enjoying that corner.
Dark Sykes as well. So the Sykes brothers both seem to be getting a little bit unsettled through corner 1, but they're bringing the fight to Jester here. Oh, Dark Sykes is pitting. And the cat's in the pits as well.
Mr. Saxo very close to putting Jester 1 lap down. He wants to get around him before turn 1. No offence to Jester's driving, but he has been struggling with this corner, and obviously wrecking in front of the leader would not be a good thing.
Yeah, Mr. Saxo, a good pass there as well. NGR Scotty, Jester, unfortunately, when he went to pass him. Oh, Jester losing it there. NGR Scotty. NGR Scotty did
that's
well
going to cost him a lot of time. But he does manage to save it quite well. Big scare for Scotty there.
Yeah, that was one of them where it was just get out the way. I think it's best to maybe lose a couple hundredths of a second rather than lose the position. Saying that, the back end comes out, the ball screeps. Keithio brings the fight to him here.
And that red, that burgundy gold paint scheme.
Looks nice in the sunset. That. Just moving out of the way to let the traffic through. Oh, Keithio, very nice sideways action through corner 1 there, but that's not.
It's a shame they're not being scored on drift points, isn't it?
Yeah.
Caesar is back up into the top 5. So not quite the podium perhaps he was looking for, but a very strong drive from this man, nevertheless.
Yeah, 3 laps left. It might just be a bit too much of a mountain for him to climb now to get onto that podium. 6
Is
seconds.
Mr. Saxo going to try and make it all the way?
Yeah, we haven't seen him pit. I think now with the side, with the length of the laps, I think you'd have to be. Yeah, I wouldn't say you'd pit in now. You're going to throw away that lead. It's got yellow flags, so he's safe from being overtook. It's Jester as well again. Started off well, Jester, but unfortunately it has got the better of him tonight. Scott is still keeping Keithio at bay. But I think Mr. Saxo and Scotty as well deserve a round of applause. They managed to make it last a whole race without pitting in. I think Caesars will be gutted that he did have to pit. But like you say, if you feel that your tyres are going and you're not getting the grip that you want, pit in, lose a couple of places rather than lose everything. Oh, scrapes the wall.
Mr. Saxo from back to front does it again, winning at BB Raceway. I was not expecting that. I mean, I have a lot of faith in Mr. Saxo's driving ability, but to win from, you know, second in the last race, kind of barely. Him and Cake had a really strong battle going, but then to come from the back to the front again, that's an impressive feat to do.
Yeah, very, very well driven for 2 races there as well, so congratulations to Mr. Saxo. We did miss it as well, but Keithio managed to get to second, so nice second place for the mature Gran Turismo racing guys, and NGR Scotty did get third. So for the second
13
time,
positions Mr. Saxo raised there, but yeah, big congrats there to Keithio, the highest finishing person from Gran Turismo Mature Racing Club. I believe, I wasn't quite sure, but I believe Caesar did manage to scrape a top 5 also.
Yeah, I think he finished 4th. I thought my prediction was on for a full house for race 2. Sadly,
I felt like a podium was definitely possible, but that pit stop, as you mentioned earlier, probably did cost them more time than you'd like to have given away.
yeah, it was simply just with the top guys choosing not to pit. They went for a full attack. I think unfortunately that did cost them, even though it was only a small pit stop. But they went out for it, and you know, credit to him, especially Saxo. Like you say, he started at the back. He probably had to push a little bit harder at first than the guys in front. So he did well to get to where he's done. Well, that does bring.
I do feel like. Also, just quickly, you know, there's a lot of luck, I feel like, on a track like this where people were having so many issues that Mr. Saxo was able to get from the back to the front incident-free. You know, he didn't get into the back of anyone, he didn't spin out at all, he kept his car under control, and I think, you know, you put all those pieces together and you've got a winning race team.
Yeah, definitely so. I mean, if you know, if there was a vote going for driver of the night, I think Mr. Saxo would have to get it, just simply for that race 2 performance that he's put in there. Like you say, he's avoided any incidents, he's avoided any sort of wall scraping or anything like that. He's just played it cool and managed to get out in front. So hats off to him, but hats off to everyone who took part. You know, there wasn't anything dodgy going on, there was no spearing or anything like that. Everyone raced fair and raced hard and raced clean. So
yeah, it's very respectful.
But that does draw our Team v Team evening to a close. We'll obviously try and bring as much of them as we can to you. But Jamie, if you just want to mention what your channel is again, so people can go and subscribe to it.
It's just one word. It's Scraf. It's SCRAF. It's like an orange and black logo. If you just type in NXTGen and then Scraf, you should be able to find it quite easily, I'd imagine.
So do go over and subscribe. Thanks, Jamie, for commentating with myself as well. It does make myself a little bit easier when someone's there to chat to. So that does draw the evening to a close, and we'll catch you all soon.